Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this April edition of CSPN. Tonight, I'll be broadcasting to you by myself, while my two co-anchors are touring the depths of Europe with Mr. Willis. We wish them an exciting trip and a safe return. Tonight, we'll be giving you an upcoming look at the spring sports season for the Cohasset Skippers, which is sure to be exciting. First, we bring you the by the numbers for the boys baseball team. The first number is 11. That's the number of the wins that the Skippers racked up last season. The second number is 8, which is the number of returning starters that the team is fielding this year. Next number is 9, which is the number of seniors that the team has this season. A lot of leadership for this baseball team. Next up, my colleague Matthew McCormick caught up with the seniors of the girls lacrosse team. Let's see what these talented girls had to say.
To say that there is top-tier talent on the 2014 CHS girls lacrosse team is kind of like saying that the sky is blue. Hope Kissick, a senior last year, was the latest lady skipper to move on to the next level, and she is currently playing her college lacrosse at the University of Florida, a perennial powerhouse in the women's circuit. This year there are four seniors from the class of 2014 moving on to the collegiate level. It is undeniably remarkable to have one player move on to the next level, but to have 4 and 3 into Division I is nearly unheard of. Seniors Mackenzie Axelson, Maddie Curley, Catherine Dunn, and Molly Fitzgerald will be taking their talents across the Eastern Seaboard next year as college freshmen. Axelson is excited to join the Connecticut College program. Curley will soon be a BU Terrier. Dunn will grace the Hoyers of Georgetown with her presence, and Fitzgerald will become a member of the William and Mary tribe. All 4 seniors are excited about the challenges that will come with their next level jump.
I chose Connecticut because it's a NESCAC and it's a small school, which is what I wanted. Also, it's a lot less of a commitment for lacrosse, which means I can do a lot of other activities at school.
Awesome.
So I'm hoping to contribute, hopefully get some time as a freshman and get a Patriot League Conference title. That'd be great.
Decision for you.
They have a great combination of athletics as well as academics, and I really like the coach, and the team seemed really nice. So.
It's going to be a lot of work. There's a new coach there and everything, so who knows really what to expect, but hopefully to contribute and play and, work hard.
Start by destroying their first 4 opponents. Their undefeated streak ended when they ran into the buzzsaw that is Notre Dame Academy, but the girls definitely feel like they will encounter further success in the rest of the year.
I just want to have fun. I want to be able to walk off the field in our last game and know that I gave it everything. Not just like playing wise, but also being a captain.
I think out of all 4 years I've played here at CHS, this is the best team we've had so far, and we've been working to getting the South Shore League Championship all 4 years, so hopefully this is the year to do it.
Awesome. From speaking to those 4 players, we clearly see there is a big sense of optimism for this girls' team moving forward, and anchored by those 4 senior collegiate commits, they should be good to go as they approach mid-season form. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in to this edition of CSPN All Access with the girls lacrosse team. Reporting for CSPN and 143 TV, I'm Matthew McCormick.
Thanks, Matt. It should be a great season for the girls. From the lacrosse field, we now transition to the track as we discuss the upcoming season for the boys and girls track team. The track team so far this season has been successful. Both the boys and the girls dropped their first meet in 2 close matches to the perennial league powers, East Bridgewater. They would rebound, however. Both teams trounced down the throats of a very strong Monomoy Sharks team. So far, the team has had several state qualifiers. On the boys' side of it, Christian Fuda has qualified in the high jump, triple jump, and the 110 hurdles. Along with myself, I qualified in the 110 hurdles and the high jump. On the girls' side of it, Molly and Maddie McNamara have qualified in the long jump, while Alexa Perez has qualified in the 400-meter dash, and Mimi Waters has qualified in the high jump. Several athletes are very close to qualifying as well, such as Alex Murphy, who is 0.1 seconds away in the 200-meter dash, Sean Smith, who is 2 seconds away in the 800, and Elijah Ponce, who is 0.1 seconds off in the 400. Dan Toomey and Joe Buckley, who will both share a mile time of 5:03, are 9 seconds off states as well. By the end of the season, there are sure to be several more state qualifiers for this very talented team. From the track to the tennis courts, we now transition to our next team, girls tennis. Dan Toomey was lucky enough to catch up with defending state championship Emma Davis and asked her what she thought of the team so far this season. This is what she had to say. So far the team is doing great. We're off to a 4-1 start with Emily Livingston playing the number 2 singles and Caroline Van Etten playing the number 3. They have both really stepped up and shown they can compete with anyone. We had one doubles team return, and they became stronger this year. The two players were Brie Cloro and Gabrielle Lemoyne. And our second doubles is anchored by Caroline Evans, who has played with Clara Baumgarten and Ryan Spicer, who has really stepped it up and proved herself as an underclassman. The future definitely looks bright, and we hope to continue and compete well and have a successful season. Thanks, Emma, for the quote. We now transition to our next team, the boys tennis team.
Hi, I'm here with Coach Chris Levisi of the Cohasset Skippers boys tennis team. Chris, how are you today?
Good, Dan. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for doing the interview.
My pleasure.
Just going to ask you a few questions about the upcoming season, if you wouldn't mind. First, just so the audience can get to know you a bit, what is your past at this sport? How long have you been playing tennis for?
So I've been playing tennis as long as I can remember. Started playing when I was, I think, 5 years old or 6 years old, all through on into high school. Played on my high school tennis team, made tournament. Really enjoyed the experience. Didn't play collegiately, but did some private lessons off and on throughout college. Taught in middle school. There was no team. Once I landed here in Cohasset, kind of met up with Doc T. She had a co-coaching idea. We worked it out, and it's been great.
Good to know the team has that kind of experience behind them. Moving on to the team in general, what kind of standout players have we seen this year that we can hope for a good season for?
I think our number one singles, Miles Morin, is a standout throughout the South Shore. He's certainly top tier in the state. We're looking to see Miles go undefeated in the league and do some damage at the Eastern Mass individuals this year. He is a true talent, but we're deep too. Our second singles, Doug Fitzgerald, senior captain, would be first singles on just about every team we play. So we have that depth, and the talent pool finds its way all the way through. Third singles, Sam Pitts right now. First doubles, we have Danny Serkovich and senior captain Eric Weinstein, talented. And then Nathan Bumstead and Jackson Dutton at second doubles. Again, they'd be first doubles on most teams. So deep talent pool all throughout.
Sounds like the team has a lot of talent behind them to carry them through the season.
You asked for one talented player. I gave you the whole roster.
I know, right?
How about
Thank
that?
you very much for
It's
that.
a talented roster.
Moving on to the sort of more new players this year, what kind of freshmen or developing sophomores have we seen that can sort of carry this team in future years?
Our freshmen, we're still feeling them out and seeing who's going to emerge. They do challenge matches throughout the early parts of the season to try to get a ladder in terms of who ranks above or below who. In terms of our sophomores, we've really seen Jack Kaufman, we've seen Sam Greenup, we've seen Sam Pitts as three players last year that were exhibition players that are moving into starting positions and competing for some of those third singles, second doubles matches. So our sophomores have really stood out so far this year.
It's good, like every Cohasset team, a good future behind them.
Oh, absolutely.
Always good to know. Now, just on the perspective of a coach, I know every coach, Coach A or Mr. Willis, they all have different methods as to how they coach. So how do you sort of bring your team to the improvement level that they need to reach for a good season? How do you work them in practice or get them to be motivated for an upcoming match?
It's a great question. So we do different things based on different players in different matches. We'll try to zero in on one element of a particular game or match prior. And if Miles or Doug feels that something was lacking in their game, they're smart enough players to be able to drill each other. They work as coaches in the summertime. They know their games real well. They almost are on, autopilot. Doc T and I can offer some assistance, but they can really coach and drill each other. Outside of that, we try to keep up a competitive edge. We want to have a lot of challenge matches throughout. We don't want any complacency. If you're first doubles, we want you to know that second doubles wants your spot. If you're second doubles, we want you to know that there's an exhibition team that wants your spot. Keeping everybody, I think, at the ultimate compete level makes you strong throughout the season. And getting everybody fired up for a game. Tennis is a different sport in terms of you don't want to be too amped up. You want to be excited, but you want to be cool and calm out there and not sort of be too aggressive. You can make a lot of mistakes that way. So you got to walk that line between being excited but controlling that enthusiasm and not letting it get the best of you.
And good to know the entire team can look to each other for motivation and whatnot.
One of a great strength is we have 3 or 4 players that are also coaches or instructors. So they're able to come to Doc T or I and say, hey, this drill might help. We should try this, X, Y, or Z. And it's great for the team.
Good to know. And also just looking into the season, what are your hopes for this new season with such a powerful talent line behind it and the freshmen, as you noticed, with the different coaches working together? What are you hoping to get out of this upcoming season?
We're taking it one match at a time. We have Bridgewater Raynham on Friday, which is tomorrow. They beat us. We split with them last year. They're a good program. And we want to beat them. They're non-league. beat Norwell at Norwell earlier this week, which was big. Our goal is we want to go undefeated. We want to run the table. We want to go all the way through states, but we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. We have short-term goals and long-term goals. So we definitely, last year we were knocked out, like boys lacrosse had their revenge against Dover Sherburne earlier this week. We too are seeking some revenge against Dover Sherburne. They knocked us out last year. So we want to get back in the playoffs and ultimately go all the way if possible.
Well, it sounds like great news for any player on the tennis team as of right now. Good to know the team has a little bit of bite going into this playoff season.
It helps.
Well, I'm all out of questions. Thank you very much for the interview.
Dan, it was a pleasure.
Good to know.
And you tell Matt McCormick I said hello.
I most certainly will. Well, thank you very much. For CSPN, I'm Dan Toomey. For the Cohasset Boys tennis team, Coach Chris Levisi, thank you very much.
Again, thanks to Coach Levisi for the interview. It should be a very exciting season for the boys. Last year, senior anchor Matt McCormick was lucky enough to catch up with the head coach of the boys lacrosse team, Coach Bowden. This is what he found.
When the dust finally settled and the 2013 Cohasset boys lacrosse season came to a close, all that separated the team from a Division III state title was 2 goals. And it will be the painful memory of those 2 goals that defines the skipper's one major goal for this season: make it back and take home some hardware. Even though last season ended with the Skippers right on the doorstep of a state title after falling to Dover Sherborne by a score of 12-10 at Harvard Stadium, there is certainly optimism for the new and improved 2014 Cohasset team. I took to a Skippers late afternoon practice to get a CSPN all-access look at the squad. Last year was just the first season for head coach James Bowden, and after leading the Skips to a 17-4 season, there is no reason to believe this team can improve. Although Bowden admits that the wound of that state championship loss has not been fully healed, he believes it could be a rallying point for this year's squad.
Well, it was obviously disappointing, especially for the 7 seniors that don't get another shot at it. But we fell to a very good team that had, stellar goalie, good face-off day, some really good attack, and so the kids, we outplayed them in the last 3 quarters. It was just that first quarter that we fell a little behind. So, but once again, we made it further than 50 other teams. So you can't feel too bad about that. And when you reload with all the kids who are on the football team this year that went far, and soccer team and basketball and hockey that are so hungry, I think we're in such a good standing this year from these Buffalo Bill moments, I like to call it, being so close. So I think it's that fire that we need to keep remembering.
In fact, the Skippers have already exacted their revenge on the very DS team that ended last year's season, as they trounced the Raiders at home by a score of 12-5. As of production time, the Laxers were 5-0 and were outscoring opponents by an average of 11 goals per game. Domination? That's an understatement. A huge part of the Skippers' success is due to the high-octane offense, which, despite having to replace 93 goals from last year's seniors John Mills and Nick Tangerlini, is thriving. Juniors Jeff Powers and Cole Kissick, senior Colin Whalen, and sophomore Danny Axelson have all been major factors on the offense this year.
This year's so unselfish that the goals are going to come from everybody. It's going to be more like college style, where Cole gets 3 and then he gets 3 assists the next day and that. But we also have Adam Benson, who's so scrappy, filling out that line, and more of a, the feeder, good finisher inside. The hockey helps him to add to those 3. And then we've moved down 2 midfielders in Jeff and Danny. Add some height down there, some real finesse play. So I think it's a completely different offense than we were running with the 2 we lost with Mills and Tango, who were more of the classic attackmen. Whereas this year now we've got those middies down there who are more of the cutters to finish like they used to, and it's been working brilliantly in 2 games. So hopefully we'll keep it going.
And, of course, much credit is due to the defense as well. Senior goalie Jack Conti has been a rock between the pipes for the Skips, and defensemen senior Jack McGelgan, junior Tim Gillis, and sophomore Jack Donahue have been noteworthy stalwarts.
Conti coming back with all that senior year confidence is huge as well. And then we've got 8 polls that could start for almost any team. I'd say you take any of our 8 polls we have this year, they'd start for 75% of the state's teams. And so the 4 we're putting out there, 3 or 4 that are playing defense, are just premier. We've got height, we've got strength, maturity.
Coach Bowden is very impressed overall with the talent on the team this year. In addition to providing plenty of much-needed depth, the prowess present in this year's squad has allowed Coach B to experiment with some new schemes.
pretty lucky all around. I'm a lucky coach. It's a lot of talent, and I'm allowed to do a lot more college style stuff this year, which is great.
One of those changes will be to the defense, which Bowden says will feature less zone and a little more man-to-man, as the physicality and talent of the back line will allow more room for creativity. There's plenty of underclassmen talent on this team as well, with scores of gifted freshmen and sophomores waiting in the wings for their time to shine. However, Bowden says that there is a real sense of purpose and unity within this team.
I think the beauty of this team so far, the new coaching staff has helped, is they understand their roles. They understand that person starting the offense is going to allow me to get a goal, and the depth that we have, kids aren't afraid to take a break on the bench, which is really unique for a high school sport, because a lot of teams, I don't want to get off the field because we might lose the possession and that's the game, where now we're like, I can take a break, they can get water, they don't have to stress, and we as coaches don't have to stress either, because the next one up is just as talented, which is great.
There's a boatload of optimism to keep the Skippers afloat for the rest of this year, but this team is far from complacent. Coach B remarks that these Skippers are eager to work and fine-tune their skills in order to tackle a challenging schedule moving forward.
But these kids are just, we want more. Tell them we'll have a 2-hour practice today. They're like, yes, they're soaking it up. They know we need to work on things. So even though we've beat teams by over 10 goals, they know that when you put Duxbury on your schedule, that you have to be perfect. And that is what's been great this year, is the positive attitude has been helping me thrive, as well.
All in all, it looks like we should be hearing quite a lot about the boys' lax team as the season progresses. Hope everyone enjoyed this CSPN All Access segment. Reporting for CSPN and 143 TV, I'm Matthew McCormick.
Great work, Matt, and good luck to the boys as they work on avenging their state title loss to the very talented Dover-Sherborne squad. Girls golf and softball are in their first years of being varsity sports, so we wish them great luck in their first season. Also, the sailing team is off to a very strong start with a 1-1 tie against a very strong Dover-Sherborne racing team. Best of luck to them in the rest of their season. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the CSPN coverage of the National High School Squash Senior Bowl.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the moment you've all been waiting for, the 2014 High School Squash National Championships. All the players have committed to their respective schools, and now they're ready to go. Yeah, this is really the pinnacle of all sports. I'm really excited, but first, let's see the players on the red team.
Lamar Jerome Jefferson, Harvard.
Reciprocal Jones, MIT.
Wachusett Plorable, Texas A&M.
Eric Gordon, Morehead State.
Cyberbully Angus Finch, Western University of Pennsylvania School of Truck Driving.
Cricketop Harstangles, Villanova Business School.
Zoltan von Kuppenropen, Kent State University.
Advil Dorito Cheeto, Alcorn State University.
Star Fox Barcodle, Harvard University.
William Maximilian Cartillion Esquire, Suffolk University.
Klaus von Stubenleben Bleetzergaff, Cal State Fullerton University.
Benoostflex, exclamation point Smith, undecided.
We'll be looking all day for the super smash serves of Zoltan von Gutenroden, won't we?
Yeah, and those amazing returns by Wachusett Plurable.
And of course, we can't forget about the perennial all-star Advil Dorito Cheeto. Of course, that red team is very skilled, but first, before we see the action, let's take a look at the blue team.
Billy Joe, Warren Moon, Carl Earnhardt, Jimmy Johnson III, Mississippi State Valley University.
Poopy McJones, Le Cordon Bleu School of Culinary Arts.
Quote Nick, end quote. Fairfield University.
Hubert Blaine, Wolfenschlegelstein, Hausen, Bergendorf, Cambridge University.
The Eurythmic King of Nowhere, Hogwarts Community College.
Bracket, insert comical name here, end bracket. Yukon.
Oxford University.
Frank, based on the novel Push by Sapphire. Quincy Community College.
Oh my God, who was that guy next to you? He looks like trouble. That's probably not good. The Ohio State University.
Snagatron, the square root of 44 Magoopenhole. University of Pennsylvania.
Cricketop Harstangles, Boise State University.
Jim Willis, University of Massachusetts, Amherst.
So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, these stars from this blue team. One really question for me was how Jim Willis made that blue team.
Yeah, he just did not have the stats to justify him being on this team whatsoever.
But, you know, a player who did have the stats to justify it was a sleeper in my book, the Eurythmic King of Nowhere from that strong Hogwarts Community College program. I think he can surprise some people.
Yeah, alongside him, bracket, insert comical name, and bracket, he's been fantastic all season long.
Absolutely. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the 2014 Squash National Championships. Let's get down to the court, shall we?
Thank you for tuning in this evening. For all of you Cohasset sports fans out there, be sure to follow @Cohasset Sports on Twitter for all the latest sports updates for the Cohasset Skippers. Our athletic director, Ron Ford, does a great job of managing it. Also, be sure to follow our CSPN Twitter page as well for more updates as to when we'll have new episodes and so forth. Again, thank you for tuning in. It should be a very exciting season for the blue and white. See you next time, Cohasset.